is, so I'm going to come into our set posture, which I know sure you know how to perfect right now. So your heels under your hips, and just make sure all 10 toes point forward. Sometimes the feet want to turn out a little to make it easier. So once you've got your toes forward, you can give your knees a little wiggle, one forward and back. And then settle midway between those 2 points and let both knees stay soft. Now your palms are going to gently turn into your thighs, so you squeeze your shoulder blades together. And you're going to let them roll forwards. So you're going to breathe in, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and let your breath go, let your chin tuck in a little now. Now you just want to feel that as your palms turn in towards each other, you feel your shoulder blades gently squeezing in towards your spine. You want to feel your chest gently open as it lifts. And we're just going to do it 4 more there. So just start to feel that rounding, that flexion through the upper back, and then the extension through the upper back. Turn the palms forward, open up the chest. Breathe in as you roll down. Then out, lift and squeeze. And one more time. And as you roll back this time and come into your shoulder squeeze, we keep the palms facing inwards. We're going to go into our pelvic tilt, so a little tuck under with the tailbone, and then gently pressing your bottom back. So what you're trying to do is just flatten your lower back by scooping your tailbone under, and then allowing your back to arch as it lifts. And then what you're doing through the front here, as you tuck under your tailbone, you feel like your pubic bone draws up towards your rib cage, and you allow it to come away from your rib cage. So the more you keep the ribs still, the more we use the tummy muscles to create that connection. You're aware that your shoulders are still back, gently drawing down in towards the ribs, but you still have that lengthened feeling right up to the crown of your head. And you might feel that your head tends to drop forward a little. It's almost like you're drawing your chin gently back towards your throat. You're breathing out through the mouth with your tuck, and then you're breathing in as you release. As you tuck this time, we're going to hold on to our tuck, so we're in a nice neutral spine. Tummy button softly draws back towards the spine, and your palms still facing in towards your thighs. Your weight even through both feet, and then we ease to our side bends. Now what we're trying to do is move from side to side, is keep the feet, the knees and the hips still, and just move through our waist, and let our ear fall towards our shoulder. Now, when you're moving from side to side, you imagine you're between 2 panes of glass. So you're going directly from one side and over to the other. Noticing there's no shift of weight from one foot to the other foot. Relax through your toes. Just allow your weight to sit into your heels. And you can feel, if you feel ready, you can go a tiny bit further. And again, you're using your bottom to create stability and stillness through the hips. And not letting your hips sway. You're enjoying the stretchy part. Once more each side. Breathing in, out with a lift, in and then out as you come to centre. So you're going to pull the shoulders up. You're going to draw them down and press your right arm away. And you're going to gently pull up again, pull the shoulder blades down, and then push your left arm away. So once you pull your shoulders up to your ears, you reach your hands down towards your ankles and then just let the arm come out to the side. Now when the arm comes out to the side, you're trying to get the muscles in the mid-back holding the shoulder blades still. If not, you'll feel the shoulder pops up towards the ear. So you pull the shoulder blades into the back of the ribs. You keep holding the shoulder blades there as your arm floats out to the side. You're going to breathe in as you lift them. Breathe out to pull them down. Keep breathing out as you lift your arm. So the breath in through the nose, out through the mouth, and again a breath in, out to pull down through the shoulder blades. Now we're going to do that twice more on each side. Just make sure now you're still in your neutral position, so you have your tuck under with your tailbone. There's a little connection to your belly button drawing towards the spine, and you're still pulling the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. So you're nice and tall all the way through. And once more. Then we're going to move into our dumb waiters next. And we're going to try that in a tandem stance. So we're still going to feel the connection into the shoulders. We're going to bring our right foot forward. So for your balance, you can either have your feet directly in front of each other, or you can bring your right foot an inch or two out to the side. So your base is just a little bit bigger and you might feel your balance is a little easier. But not in a position where you feel like you could stand there all day without any challenge. And feel challenged at the same time. Now once you've got your set position, all 10 toes again point forward. We soften both knees, relax your toes, and let your weight come into the heels. Come back to your neutral, so you have your tailbone under and then the shoulder blades drawn down. Turn your palms to the ceiling. Keep your belly button softly drawn to your spine. Take a breath in. With your out breath, you're going to squeeze the shoulder blades together, and then an in breath to close. Now you're trying to keep the weight even in both feet. The chin stays tucked in, so there's lots of length into the back of the neck. And then you're thinking about your ribs. Aware that when you open the arms, the ribs don't flare forward. So that space you hold between your ribs and hips stays the same. Nice strong neutral position. Soft through both knees. And try and keep your weight even in both feet too, which you'll find it always wants to sit back into your back leg. I'm just going to do 3 more on this side. Breathing out as you squeeze the shoulder blades together. And your elbows are staying tucked in under your shoulders. And you're going as far as you can without pushing your ribs forward. Perfect. And then release down. Changing over feet. So again, you can have it directly in front of the back foot or an inch or two off to the side. Once you've chosen your position, balance your weight, find that neutral and soften your knees. Shoulders back and down, palms towards the ceiling. So from here, you're going to keep your shoulder blades gently drawn into the ribs. You're going to hold. Without letting your shoulders rise up to your ears, just push the hands away, pull the elbows back into the ribs, and then we come forward. What you want to avoid is the shoulders lifting. If the shoulders lift up, these muscles here have switched off. So we have that feeling of pulling the shoulder blades down. And again, that's going to help to strengthen and stabilise through the upper back and give us a lot more stability through our shoulders. Thinking about the weight again through both feet. So again, just before you push the arms out to the side, pin the shoulder blades down. Keep them there as long as you can as you push the arms out. And then easing back into the centre. Breathing out through your mouth. Keep breathing out to lift. And a breath in to close. 2 more again. Just watch the heads forward, back of neck nice and long. Chin tucked in. And tailbone still softly drawing down towards your heels. So hopefully we're feeling that work in our mid back and our upper back. And our balance. Bring your hands down and step your feet together. It's a little bit more balance with our rotation. Your feet are hip distance. They're going to stay hip distance when we step backwards and forwards. We're going to start with the right leg. You can lift your hands, shoulders stay down, and your hands just below your breastbone. Gentle turn to your right, and then push back. Left foot. So your heel strikes the floor first, and it's a roll onto your front foot. Squeezing the bottom to stabilise your hips, and then letting that rotation come through your spine. And then with your breath in, step forward, roll through the foot, the back heel lifts, breathe out to twist, breath into centre, and then push out of your front foot and aim to land your feet together. Hip bones, they're pointing forwards. Spine staying nice and long. Not letting the shoulders rise as you lift the arms. They're nice and soft and relaxed away from the ears. Now when you twist, try to make sure the knees don't roll. So you grind down through your feet. You press into your front heel as you turn across. And then when you step back, you almost press out of the heel to push your foot back underneath the hip. So weight into the heel and then push back. Heel down first, back heel's lifted. Got about 80% of the weight on your front leg. That back foot's there just as a little stabiliser. Again, when you come forward, we've got one left on each side. Squeeze the bottom, keep the tailbone tucked. And then gently press back. And one more time. And then step in together. Into our foot pedals next, because these are really good for stability through the ankles, the knees and the hips, as well as getting lots of mobility through those joints too. So I want to get your peace fingers, find your hip bones. Now you'll notice if one hip drops that your big hangings won't be level. So what we're going to try and do is make sure we keep our pelvis level. And you can always imagine that your pelvis is a bucket of water and it's full to the brim. And you're trying to make sure the hips then don't rock backwards and forwards. So once you've got your pelvis nice and level, either with the fingers or measuring that water full to the top of your pelvis, you're just going to lift your right heel off the ground, knee in line with your toe. Without letting your pelvis rock, place the heel down. So lift your left heel, roll onto the ball of your foot, not onto your little toe, and then a soft breath in as you lower it down. So again, the hips are as still as possible. You have your tailbone softly drawn down towards the heels. And if I can only see your upper body, I shouldn't tell that you're moving. So you don't feel like you're swaying from side to side. What you want to think about as you lift your heel is the crown of your head pulling up to the ceiling. And as you lower your heel, feel like the crown of your head stays pulled up to the ceiling. As if you've got a plumb line attached to the ceiling to the top of your head. And keep it nice and still all the way through. And when you do this really slowly, with lots of stillness through the hips, you will feel all the deeper muscles, especially your lower abdominals, working to maintain that hip stability. You're not changing the position of your lower back. So as your knee heel comes forward, you're not allowing your back to arch. So we've got that tailbone drawn down to the heels. And then from here you can just start to alternate the feet if you want to. Now if you're starting to alternate your feet, you still don't want to be rocking from side to side. Weight onto the ball of your foot. Heel just softly down to the ground, as if you're placing it down on thin ice. Keep your tailbone drawn down towards the heels. And again, use the in-breath as you lift and the out-breath as you lower. Focusing on the hips. Try not to let them rock. Think about the space between your ribs and hips, no rib flare. Tailbone softly drawing to the heels. And 2 more each side. Now try not to let the weight go onto those little toes. It's onto the ball of your foot, so make sure your knee stays tracking in line with the toes. One last one for your left foot. And then softly place both heels down. Feel like a little shake. Right, so we're going to come down to the floor and focus on the rest of the things. So when you're ready, if you work your way down onto the ground, we're going to stay with the shoulders just a little bit longer. And as we're coming to work into our shoulders, we're also going to think, sorry that's me, my sound effects. We're also going to think about our rib placement too. I'll turn this way so I can still see you all on TV. So as you lie back, you're going to have your feet hip distance apart, but not too close as if we're going to do a bridge. So you've got plenty of space through the backs of your knees. Now once you're here, a few pelvic tilts to find our neutral position first. To begin with, tug in your chin. Open through the shoulders and then draw your shoulders down to the back of the ribs. Now let your ribs gently soften down and then think about your hip bones. You're going to point them up towards your head. And as you do, you're gently pulling your belly button down and pressing your lower back into the ground. And then you're going to point your hip bones towards your knees, but you're not letting your ribs flare. So it won't be a very big movement. Feel the imprint, the lower back's in contact with the ground. And then your hip bones point towards your knees, not allowing the ribs to lift. So we have to use our upper abdominals a little, as well as the shoulders through the back, to keep the stability to our upper body. And just allowing that movement to flow through our lower body. Out through the mouth as your tailbone almost lifts off the ground. And then breathe in as you're pressing your tailbone to the floor, without the ribs flaring. Twice more. Breathe in through the nose as you release, and then out through the mouth as you go into your imprint. Now we're going to settle midway between those 2 points. And if you want to, you can make your hands into a triangle and press the heel of your hands onto your hip bones. Then when you glance down, you should be able to see that your can't lift my head up. Once you glance down, you should be able to see that your hands are level. If your fingers are pointing up to the ceiling, then your pelvis is probably too far back. If your thumbs are pointing up, you've probably got too much of an arch. So again, you can place the heels of the hands onto the hips, have a look at the hands, fingers are nice and level. That should be a neutral spine. Now from here, shoulders away from our ears. We're going to bring both arms up. We're not letting the back lift or the ribs flare. Single arm pull over. You're going to breathe in, keep the arms straight, don't let the ribs lift. And you're going to breathe out, bring it back into the centre. Breathing in through the nose as you reach the arm back, and out through the mouth as you come back into the centre. You're trying not to let your head tip back, and your eye gaze should be more towards the front of your body than looking back behind your head. So you've always got that nice length into the neck. Now move slowly with your breath. Think about the stillness of your shoulders, aware that the ribs aren't coming up as the arm reaches back. Breathing in as you ease down, and then breathing out as you rise. Now you're still in a neutral spine, so your lower back is still slightly lifted away from the ground. So you've not gone into imprint, you're not pressing your back into the floor. You've not allowed your back to arch. You're midway again between those two positions with a nice level pelvis. I'm going to do that once more on each side. Then we're going to alternate the arms. We're going to go into full scissor arms. So as your left arm reaches back, your right hand to your ankle, and then vice versa. Now if you feel that when you come into both arms your ribs start to flare, take it back to single arms at any point. Breathing in through the nose as you lower, and then out through the mouth as you lift. So again, we're thinking about shoulder stability, keeping the shoulder blades gently pressing into the ground, aware that your body doesn't rock from side to side. Now you're going to make your feet a little bit lighter, so you're not pressing down through the feet to stabilise your body. That means you're going to have to just gently draw the tummy button back towards the spine, but not pressing the spine into the ground. And we're going to do that once more on each side. Breathing in as you open, and then breathing out to close, in through the nose, and then out through the mouth. And bring your hands down. And reset your shoulders. So again, just go into a couple of tilts here. And we're going to stay back in our neutral position. It's just a little release through your lower back. So again, you can check it if you want to. Heels of your hands onto your hip bones, into your diamond shape, and then you can look and see if your hands are level. Now keeping your hands on your hips, so you can come to your peace fingers on your hip bones. Length into the back of the neck, keeping the knee in this fixed position. We're going to breathe in. With the out breath and without pressing our lower back into the floor, you're going to simply lift your knee above your hip. So it's at 90 degrees, and then you place it down onto an eggshell, just where it came from, next to the other foot. Place your right foot on the eggshell. As you breathe out next time, you're going to lift your left knee, keeping your right foot on the eggshell, and then breath in as you gently place it down. Out through the mouth on the lift, and in through the nose as you lower. Now stay really broad and open across your shoulders, aware that the ribs aren't flaring, especially when you lower the foot down. So you're still keeping that connection here through your upper abdominals to stop the ribs lifting as the foot comes back to the floor. We're breathing out through the mouth with each lift, and then in through the nose as you lower. So this is helping to strengthen the muscles that help to support our spine and our pelvis. We're going to to do that once more on each side, and then we're going to bring the arms back in. Try and notice when you place your foot down, you don't rock from side to side. So it's a really seamless transition. Slow breath in as you ease it down, and then you can pause here. You can bring the arms back above the shoulders. Slide them down to the back of the ribs. So again, shoulder stability, palms facing in, and back to our neutral spine again. A couple of rocks. Settle in the centre. Your right knee lifts. Your left arm reaches back. You're taking a breath in. Pause. And then breathe out to come back into the centre. So your left knee lifts. Your right arm reaches back. And then back into the centre. Now you're going to breathe in through the nose. Onto your eggshell as you lower your foot. Now you can keep this all one movement, or just a tiny bit harder. Lift your right knee and hold. Then breathe in and take your left arm back. Don't let the ribs flare. Breathe out, lift the arm. Take a breath in, lower your right foot down onto an eggshell. Keep it on the eggshell. Lift your left knee. In neutral spine, breathing in, reach your right arm back. Breathe out with a lift. Breath in, foot back to your eggshell. Now still try and make sure the head hasn't tilted back. So you've got that length into the back of the neck. And again, this is about strengthening the back muscles as much as it is to the front of the body. Because you're aware once you're here and the arm reaches back, you're not letting the ribs push away from the ground. Keep that nice strong connection through the shoulders. Once more on each side. Keep the chin tucked in so the head isn't tilting back. Aware the ribs haven't gone away with the hips. And then one last time. And I'll have a nice release. You deserve a nice release. So again, you can feel I'm working really slowly with lots of awareness and lots of control. Makes everything work so much harder. Now you can reach both arms out overhead. Take your legs away. Let your shoulders relax. Just make your right arm a little bit longer. And then your left arm a little bit longer. And then just keep alternating arms gently so you feel your ribs just gently pulling away from the hips. A nice easy stretch down the side. And then rest in the centre. And bring your feet in. Back to being hip distance apart. And then from here, you're going to bring your hands to your thighs. A little bit of crunching. So we're going to keep a neutral spine. We're not going to lift too high. We're going to start with the chin nodded in. So you've got lots of length in the back of your neck. If you have your head tilted back, not a good idea, you try and lift, that's really going to pull into the neck. So once you've got the chin tucked in, imagine you're holding a little peach underneath your chin. Hands are going to stay on your thighs. You're going to breathe in, keeping your neutral spine. You're going to breathe out and push your fingertips towards your kneecaps. And as you breathe in, keep the chin tucked in and let the head come down. So the chin first. So it's almost like a rolling action. The neck lifts. Then you roll through the upper back. Your back's not pressing to the floor, so you're still in your neutral spine here. And then you're gently easing back down. We're only going to do 8 of these. We're going to focus on tucking the chin in. Feel like the muscles from just under your ribs pull down towards your hips as you push your fingers towards your kneecaps. And then gently breathe in and roll back down. Still holding your peach. Breathe out through the mouth. And an easy breath in. Keep the peach tucked under the chin. And go again. And we're going to do that one last time. A nice little crunch feeling. Or maybe not so nice. And then easing down very gently. So as we come into flexion work, that means we're folding forwards. The muscles through the front of the body get quite a nice workout, and the back of the muscles get a stretch. So I'm going to flip that over next. We're going to Let the muscles here have a little stretch, and we're going to bring more work into the back. So when you're ready, if you want to turn over, coming face down onto the ground. We'll start with the arms in a nice simple movement. I'm going to lie this way because it's easy to turn my head that direction. So from here, you're going to bring your elbows just out in line with the shoulders. And you're going to draw the shoulder blades back into the ribs. Now you want a nice long neck again, and allowing your forehead to rest on the ground. Draw your tailbone gently towards your heel, so you're lengthening through your lower back, and you've got your belly button very gently lifted up towards your spine. Now we're going to lift our forehead and our right elbow and forearm off the floor. We breathe in to prepare. As we breathe out, keep the chin tucked in. Keep the elbow and the forearm parallel to the ground and ease back down. You're breathing out through the mouth as you lift, and the breath in as you lower. Now again, you're thinking about your lower back, so you're trying not to let the back arch here. You're gently drawing the tailbone down. Imagine you've got one of those little Cadbury's mini eggs underneath your tummy button. And when you lift your upper body, you're trying not to crush your egg. Try and keep it nice and safe, protecting it when you lift. Be aware that when you lift, you're not looking forwards. The eye gaze, if you fix it on a place on the ground, and as you lift, try and keep the eye gaze fixed down to the floor. Now, you might feel as you lift, your bottom starting to tense. So we're going to try and relax the bottom more this time. And you can always roll your heels outwards a little, so it makes the bottom muscles switch off. Keep pulling the shoulder blades down to the back of the ribs, and just a little hover, and a breath in as you release. So the work of this exercise should come through your mid-back to your upper back. Hold in neutral, so you should feel some connection into your tummy. Bottom hopefully staying relaxed all the way through. And breathing out through the mouth. Breathing in as you ease down. No movement through the neck, just lots of length. Feel like the crown of your head is pulling forward and your tailbone is drawing back. So it gives you that feeling of lengthening as you lift. And again, breathe out through the mouth, draw the tummy up nice and strong. Breath in as you ease down. Last one now on your left. And as you lower down, bring your hands in. Squeeze your elbows back. Press through the heels of your hands. And then from here, we're going to move back towards our heels. Gently encouraging the hips back. Lengthen the arms, so you're just walking your fingers forward. And let the shoulders just soften down a little. And gently pull your belly button back to your spine. And now we're going to come on to all fours. We're going to come into our pelvic tilts again, because this movement is really important, and sometimes if we're stiff through certain parts of our spine, we kind of lose a little bit of this movement. Once we're in our box position, I want you to imagine that you've got a belt here around your ribs. And from here around your ribs and upwards, we're going to keep perfectly still. So with your hands shoulder width apart, if you take them wider, you'll feel your back becomes broader. So when you pull the shoulder blades down to the back of the ribs, spread your fingers, bring your weight slightly forward into your hands, and just relax the elbows a little. Just for two, allow your ribs to just sink to the floor, and then feel like you're pushing yourself through the heels of your hands back up in towards your shoulder blades. Breathe in and sink, and breathe out and hold. So you should feel really level and flat through your upper back. Now, just with your tailbone, we're going to breathe in, breathe out, gently tuck without your rib cage moving. Breathe in, we allow our tailbone to lift. As we breathe out, we're gently tucking under, and you should feel a stretching, a lengthening in your lower back. You may feel you naturally come up into your mid-back or to your upper back, but try not to. So it's as if you're rolling through your bottom 5 vertebrae, just one at a time, tucking under. Feel like you're drawing your tailbone down towards your heels, then towards your knees, and then allowing it to lift up towards the ceiling. Shoulder blades are still on the back of your rib cage. You're breathing in as you allow your back to gently arch, and then breathing out with your tuck. However it looks when you keep everything else nice and still. You keep pressing into the hands, because that's helping again to strengthen the shoulders and the upper back and maintain your stability. Now this time as you come into a tuck, we're then going to settle into neutral spine. So once you've got your tuck under with your tailbone, you're going to release a little, but keeping a connection into your tummy. Now put your weight into your left hand, keep both elbows soft and gently lift your right hand off the floor, changing sides without letting your shoulders rock from side to side. This is our cat pedals. Aware that the ears haven't dropped below your shoulders, so the back of the neck's nice and long. And each time make sure your hand comes back underneath your shoulder, not forward with the shoulder. Now, as we're doing this, there should be no change of position through the back. Lots of strength through the shoulders for stability. And using the out breath as you lift the hand, your tummy muscles. Now they have to respond to support your spine and keep it nice and still as you lift alternate hands. Breathe out through the mouth, in through the nose. Once more each side, and then when you finish this last one, you can have another little sit back on your heels. This time, once you come back with your hips to your heels, you're then going to bring your hands back towards your feet. And the chin gently tuck in, and now allow your shoulder blades to separate. If you're letting your shoulders just sink down to the ground. Take a nice big breath in. As you breathe out, gently rolling back up through your spine. So you can bring your hands forward first, retucking the spine, bring the shoulders all the way back above the hips, and then rolling the shoulders down. We're going to bring our feet forward when you're ready. So again, we're still looking at that pelvic tilt, because again, it's just such a massive part of Pilates, getting that movement, especially through your lower back and that connection into your core. So if you are a little tight with your hamstrings and you struggle to get upright, you can always just sit on one of the Pilates blocks or a cushion, so it just helps you, or even a folded towel, to take a bit of tightness out of the hamstrings. So in our eye position, ears, shoulders, hips aligned, ribs and above stay still. So you're just going to scoop under your tailbone to make a little scoop into a chair. And it'll look like you're barely moving. Now gently pull the chin in, look forwards, not down. So the eye gaze is fixed forward in front. You're pulling up through the back of the neck and the crown of your head. That's it. Just lift your chin a tiny little bit above. That's better, so you feel the length into the neck. Feel like you're trying to get your hip bones to gently point up towards your rib cage. Breathe in, come onto your sit bones. Breathe out with a tuck. So again, it looks like you're not moving at all, but the key is, if you start to look bigger, you'll get the movement into the upper back. So the more you keep that upper back long, the more you feel the movement into the lower back. And it's a stretch for that lower back. Quite a nice one as well. Then we're going to let that stretch come a little higher, but don't rush. Into your chair. Feel like you're pressing your tummy button towards your spine to gently curve into the lower back. And then come forwards and come back onto your sit bones. Start with the hips first, your hip bones. Tilt them back a little. So you just feel a stretch in that mid-back, lower back area. Press your belly button to your spine like you're pressing down with your spine towards the ground. And then you're coming forwards and lengthening. The breath again, in through the nose, neck nice and long, out through the mouth, come forward and lengthen. Keep your eye gaze fixed on something that's not moving. So your eye gaze doesn't move even when you roll back and then come forward and lengthen. 2 more, gentle breath in. Breathe out to come forwards. And once more. Easing your breath in through the nose and then easing out through the mouth. Grow tall. And then from here, you can bring your legs down in front. So give your sit bones a little tug back. So you're going to pull the hips back. Sometimes we get stiffness in our lower back. It can be because the hamstrings are quite tight as well. So what we're going to do from here is lift the chest up, roll the shoulders back. I've got odd socks on, I've just noticed. Ta-da! Now everybody's noticed. Never mind, it's the worst things in life, especially at the moment. What we're going to do from here is just lift the arms up, gently come forward, and then roll back through the spine. It's like a little swim. Now if you need less, you can just simply bend your knees, and that'll take a little bit of tightness out the hamstrings. And you're looking for that nice roll through the spine. So we just got that prepared and we did those J's to our C. And this time you're going to keep the arms forward. So when we're doing our pure stretch, a little turn from side to side as if you're swimming. You're turning the head, you're looking to the side of the room, and all the way back to the other. That's the bit I'm not doing very well with today. So turn the head rather than just the eyes. And give me 2 on each side. So again, just loosen up into the back of the legs. And then rest. When you finish your last one, roll back. And take your feet a little bit wider. Again, your knees can stay bent, or you can encourage the knees down to the floor. We're going to bring our left hand forward, and our right hand, we're going to press your fingertips into the ground, so it's just behind your bottom. Roll your shoulders, so you're going to push up now with both hands. You might find just staying there is enough, or you can just gently reach your left arm forward, and then come back. Even Lex is having a massage with a ball this morning. Breathe out through the mouth. Gently lift your eye gaze up towards your fingers. And you feel that you're gently tipping forward into your hips. And one more time. And then simply change hands. So bring your left hand back, right hand forward. Push up the hands first, so you're trying to get your back up nice and long. And then gently reach forward and ease back. Breathe out. I think she thinks it's the perfect opportunity for me to throw the ball for her. She could be right. Could get it. And a couple more here. That should nicely ease into the back of your hips. When you finish your last one, you can just squeeze the knees in, bend both knees, and then roll over onto your hands and your knees. So once you come over onto your hands and your knees, I'm just going to reset the shoulders, tuck under your toes, gently lift the hips. So you're gently pushing your hips back to your heels, then you're extending your legs up, and you're just going to walk your feet again like we did our foot pedals earlier. As you're doing your foot pedals, you're encouraging the heel back towards the ground, and you're pushing your knee forward towards your elbow, onto the ball of the foot, not onto the little toes. Gently draw the belly up to the back, so again there's no rocking of the hips from side to side. Stability through the shoulders as you press evenly down through both hands. And give me one more on each side. And then when you've completed your last one, you can lift both heels, bend your knees a little, step forward whenever you're ready. Now once you're here, you can bring your hands back to your toes, or you can bring your elbows straight onto your thighs. We're going to allow our back to open. So you're bringing the chin back in. Let the crown of your head gently sink to the ground. Nice big breath up into your chest. And the out breath, you let your chest sink back down towards your thighs. Try and take your eye gaze back towards your kneecaps. Now if you need a little help to come up, you can just gently walk your hands up your knees. And just simply allow the arms to hang. And enjoy that restacking for each vertebrae. It's quite a nice feeling when you work your way up. Roll back and down with the shoulders. And then simply breathe in, lift both arms when you're ready. shoulder blades are down, arms lift, and then again pull the shoulders down to the ribs. Pin the shoulder blades down, breathe in as you lift the arms, and then breathe out as you ease back down again. Once more, just a nice big stretch all the way up through the arms, weight into our heels, and then gently easing down. Have a little twist from your right to your left, but again, you're still thinking about the hip stability. If you're letting your knees rock from side to side, there's no work coming through the spine. Setting concrete from here and below. So it's through the waist. It's a little turn of the head. Mine is a little turn today. I think it's my eyes that are turning more than my head. Once more each way. And then you may rest in the middle. Let the shoulders just lift up and let them go. And again, a lift and a release. Not a lunge and a squat inside today. Well done, ladies. Give yourselves a clap.